Welcome back, geometry. We've reached the end of our saga of working with congruent triangles and CPCTC for this mini lesson. Okay, so it looks like we've got another diagramless example that we're working with here. So let's go ahead and draw a diagram. I'm going to go a little faster in this video because I already went through how to draw your diagram in example 2. So if you haven't watched that or you have any questions, please go look at that video because I do go a little more in depth with it. I'm assuming that we know how to label our diagram here. Okay, so now I want to mark the congruent angles. Angle B is congruent to angle U, E is congruent to G, and L is congruent to U. Let's label our picture with the information they give us. So they tell us that the measure of angle B is 2x plus 2y. So 2x plus 2y degrees. They tell us that the measure of angle E is 3x plus y degrees. They tell us that the measure of angle U is 62 degrees. Oh, whoops. I marked my second diagram incorrectly. This bottom one should be an A. Here we go. Measure of angle U is 62 degrees. And the measure of angle G is 59 degrees. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start setting up some equations. I know that the measure of angle B is equal to the measure of angle U. So with that in mind, I can set up the equation 2x plus 2y equals 62. Okay, so that's one equation. And I also know that the measure of angle E is congruent to the measure of angle G, which means that 3x plus y equals 59. Well, it looks like we've got a system on our hands. So at first glance, it looks like I can solve this system using substitution, because if I look at my second equation, this y, that one has a coefficient of 1, whereas the x in this equation has a coefficient of 3. And there are coefficients of 2 and 2 for x and y in that first equation. So let's get y by itself in the second equation. To do that, I want to subtract 3x on both sides. Okay. And if you need a review on how to solve systems, please go back to that Google Doc and rewatch those videos. Okay, so now I've got y equals, well, 59 and 3x aren't like terms, so I just want to keep that as 59 minus 3x. So now what I have here is this thing that says y is equivalent to the expression 59 minus 3x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the y in the second equation with what I've got over here. So here's what that looks like. I'm going to copy down that second equation. So that's going to be 2x plus 2. Now, instead of writing y, remember, I'm replacing it with this, the 59 minus 3x. So 59 minus 3x. And then copy down the rest of that first equation. So equals 62. Okay, now I've got everything in terms of x, and I can solve. So let's start off by distributing that 2 into that expression. So I end up with something that says 2x plus, well, 2 times 59, that's 118. And then 2 times negative 3x, that's negative 6x, equals 62. Okay, from here, we want to combine like terms. 2x minus 6x, that's negative 4x, plus 118 equals 62. And now we can solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 118 on both sides. So 62 minus 118. And that gets me negative 4x equals negative 56. And then our final step is to divide both sides by negative 4. And we end up with, sorry, just scrolling down a little bit. We end up with x equals positive 14, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Okay, now that I've solved for x, we're not done yet, because remember, we have to solve for y. I'm going to plug that value in for x into this equation right here. It doesn't matter which one you plug it into. You could plug it into the one that I just starred. You could plug it into this one, or you can plug it into this one. You're going to get the same answer either way. I just think it's quickest and easiest to plug it into the one that's highlighted in yellow here. So I get y equals 59 minus 3, and instead of writing x, we're going to replace that with 14. Now 3 times 14, I end up with 59 minus 42. And when I do 59 minus 42, we end up with y equals 17. So we've found the values for x and y. If we're trying to write our solution as an ordered pair, we can write it as 14, 17, because when we're writing that solution, remember the ordered pair, the x value comes first and then the y. Thanks for watching.